Good afternoon, Mr. McCoy and Mr. Underwood. I stand before you today to propose my idea of expanding the Appalachian Fossil Museum. I believe the museum needs an expansion because we have a lot of issues with it being too small so that it feels disorganized, rushed, and a little cramped for the amount of specimens and exhibits that we have and are also currently receiving or working to receive. This expansion will help us create a more organized museum, as well as creating less confusion for our guests and newer employees, as we could actually put the exhibits and specimen together in a way where they would all be together to learn about them easier. The benefits of this expansion would be to allow to showcase more items or to make it feel less cramped or rushed. Also, with the size that we have, the newer items would not get backlogged as easily or put into tiny spaces to where it feels more rushed or cramped. The permissions that we would need for this are actually from you two gentlemen, the owner of Mystery Hill and the owner of the museum itself. Current conditions are customers will normally, on a normal basis, will go through without questions in about 2 minutes. I feel like they do this because they see too many items in such a enclosed space that they feel there is too much to learn, and they don't really want to ask questions because they'll get confused about what they're asking about. If the museum was less cramped, they will probably ask more questions or will have an easier time learning and give us a point to create new labels where they can actually learn more from the labels without asking questions and can actually read. With this expansion, all we would have to do is go into the space that we don't use in the house and create shelves, block off non-guest visits, and also this will give us a chance to create a better mineral exhibit to allow us the chance to give tours on both the minerals and the fossils without the minerals being pushed to the back of the questions and of the tours, because most people would care more about the fossils rather than the minerals. If we separate them, this will give us a chance to teach about both without issue of rushing. The effects on personnel would not actually be much because we would only have to have 2 personnel on staff at all times rather than having one person go through the entire museum and watch the entire museum. We would have a entrance and an exit. They would not be the same door like they are currently, and one staff member could watch one door while another watches the other. Also, with the gift shop being on the other end, we would definitely have to watch that. This will only really have to affect payroll more than anything, while still giving guests the full experience that they would need. The limitations, on the other hand, are that we would have to either do this before opening hours or after closing hours, because the noise will actually hinder tours and be too loud for guests to concentrate on what they're learning. My expected results of this would be that we could make the museum better and give more in-depth tours on both minerals and fossils, and people will actually be able to feel like they're learning more rather than just feeling like they just had a massive information thrown onto them. The performance of this will actually benefit us because we will have more room to walk around with large groups and not have to bounce around between the front door and our group to let new groups in. We would also be able to have again, more employees on so we could actually answer more questions and help our guests easier. The other benefit is that we would actually also have a safer environment because we will not have employees trying to walk around or squeeze through groups and possibly knock something over or break something or have a exhibit fall on someone. The steps to this will have to be that we clear out the back area of the museum that we currently are not using, and find a new back room for our backlog items. Then we would have to map out how we want the tours to work, and then from that mapping we could actually start to figure out how we want our shelves and walls to work, and then build the shelves and move the exhibits around to where they're more organized. The personnel needed for this will be the owner of the museum, the landlord to approve, you two gentlemen, construction workers to help build the shelves and the walls and make sure that everything is stable, and then the employees after it is done. Timetable: in practicality, this entire project could, from start to finish, would only take at most 2 months, because unfortunately we are open from 9:30 to 5 p.m. and any work would have to be done before opening or after closing so that it will not hinder our tours during working hours. This entire project will only take about $1,000 for supplies for building the walls and shelves, as well as the cleaning it would take after the walls that need to be altered. In conclusion, as previously stated, the biggest issue is that the museum is too small for the amount of exhibits that we have currently and are also receiving consistently. For example, we are working to purchase a Velociraptor skeleton, as you know, but we have no room to put it right now. So I feel like this minor expansion will greatly benefit us, as it will relieve a lot of room for new exhibits to be placed and also give us an entire section specifically for minerals. Benefits of this will alleviate confusion, will alleviate our cramped feeling, rushed, disorganized feelings, and also be able to give more in-depth tours so that our customers feel like they're receiving a better experience. Thank you, gentlemen, for listening to what I have to say.